Mums of Reddit, what do you know about your child that you will never tell to him, huh? She was conceived because I really wanted an iced cappuccino from Tim Hortons. He didn't feel like driving, so I made him a deal. It actually ended pretty nicely in a field under a clear night sky with many stars out. Traded fricking for coffee. Heck, I live in Seattle and that crap doesn't even happen here. Clearly I'm in the wrong Seattle. Stay at home dad. Here, I'm hoping that I never have the need to tell my kids that 2 out of the 3 served jail time in utero. Dude, and to Postpartum street cred. I'll never tell my dear son that I follow every fricking single comment he makes on Reddit and that I'm the one who gives him the golds. Poor kid will always think that he's a such funny person. Not my kid, but at a family party my cousin who was 3 or 4 at the time needed a pee. The party was a buffet and when his dad took him to the toilet he discovered that the kid had been secretly threading hula hoop crisps onto his dong. Not sure how well this translates for non-UK people. I will never, ever tell my daughter that when she was 1 week old I accidentally threw her across the room onto a wood floor. It was about 2 AM. I was breastfeeding her in the living room and a huge spider crawled on my arm. The whole new baby late at night thing made me stupid. So my reaction was to use the arm I was holding the baby and to get the spider off my other arm. My little girl went flying. It was horrible. She was fine, though, completely unharmed, just kind of pee off. No one tell her. You can't just offer your baby to a spider to make it go away. My son's grandparents have custody of him in Australia. His mother and I were a one-time fling on a beach in North Carolina along with another girl at the same time. She went to prison for trafficking large quantities of drugs in Australia, which is a major offense over there. I think she's serving 25 to life or something. One day I was called by the Australian version of child services telling me that I need to come pick up my son. I didn't even know that I had a son until then. He was 7 at the time. Apparently what had happened was she put my name down on his birth certificate and kept my contact info on a bookmark that hung from her rearview mirror. His grandparents came and got him. They tell him that his daddy is off fighting in the war and I've only spoken with him twice. I have sent over my part of a paternity test a few times to see if he is actually mine or not, but his grandparents keep ignoring them. I think they're afraid that I will just show up one day and take him away. He doesn't really know me and it would be awkward for me to take custody of a 12-year-old that I don't even know if he is mine or not. I think he's gonna be pee when he finds out the truth. So I took a leather-bound journal and wrote out all the things about me that I think he should know along with the real story about why I wasn't around. I've included several stories about me and my time in the army, my travels, and a lot of good advice covering many situations that he may find himself in, complete with glossary and index. I wrapped up this journal along with my own dog-eared copy of the Ranger Handbook with my own notes written in, an old set of my dog tags, and a way to contact me. I sent it to a lawyer's office in Australia with instructions to deliver it to him on his 18th birthday. I'm looking forward to the Reddit post about his delivery when the time comes. Holy crap, I was expecting this to get buried. Thanks for all the replies, reminders, gold, and support. This post really is the TLDR. I've made multiple attempts to the grandparents, but I'm always ignored. I've only gotten through when I've called on his birthday, and that was just twice. I know who my father is, but I kinda wish I could have found out by a mystery lawyer turning up with a weathered, dusty package full of stamps, asking me to sit down. Hoa. From a son's pov, but my mum, and the rest of my family, have hidden from me that my older brother is only my half-brother, same mum, my entire life so far, and they think I don't know, but I overheard my grandmother talking about it at a family reunion years ago. Same here, there's so much evidence that I can't not know, but they still won't tell me. That I know he is suicidal. I fear if I let him know that he'll go through with it or be too ashamed to speak with me again. I understand the reasoning behind speaking with him about it or getting professional help, but please be aware that one treatment doesn't fit all. Not a mom, but my cousin doesn't know that he is the product of debauchery. My entire extended family knows, and as far as I know, Nearly all of us cousins know aside from his own brother and sister. He was always treated special because of it, like if babying him will somehow make everything okay. He's turned out to be an entitled dickface because of it. This story was a roller coaster. Oh no, that's terrible. Well, at least his family made sure to love him. Oh no, he became an butthole. Years ago we had an awesome cat named Chosen One. We all loved this cat, but especially my oldest son who, at the time, was just beginning to drive. He was about 17 or so. One day my son was leaving the house to go somewhere, and when he left he reached down and gave Chosen a little love, and out the door he went. Unbeknownst to him, the cat had followed him out the door, and for some reason the cat must have ran under the car. Nobody actually witnessed this event, so we're speculating on what exactly happened. So my son drives off, and a little while later I go outside, only find Chosen laying on the driveway curled up in a ball dead. We think the kitty ran under the car or was in front of the tire or something, and when my son drove away he ran over Chosen and killed him. We were all pretty upset, of course, and when my son came home we told him Chosen had been hit by a car in the road and died. We've never told him, and never will, that we're pretty sure he was the one that killed the cat. He'd blame himself and forever feel guilty about killing his favorite cat. Maybe change the name. My son wasn't planned, and I never ever wanted or planned to have kids. I fell pregnant accidentally. He will never ever be told this because my mum repeatedly told me I was an accident as a child, and it really fricked with me. Kid woke up. That's the end of my replies for a while. He's angry with his teeth and needs cuddles. I like to call my first son a wonderful surprise. He really was too. I walked in on my 5-year-old stepson with his pants down, rubbing the cat against his dong, saying, "Oh, that feels good." I said, "That's not what the cat is for." He was embarrassed. The cat hasn't been the same since. I'm imagining a cat with 1,000-yard stare. That cat has seen some crap. My daughter is not biologically my husband's. She was conceived with donor sperm. Hubby is sterile. I want to tell her because I think it's fair just for medical reasons alone. Especially now considering she was born with a major heart defect. Hubby doesn't want to tell her. Might not ever. I don't think it would matter, but I would be devastated if it made her think less of my husband. She's only been with us a month, but he loves her so much. It would crush him. Anyway, yeah, that's our secret for her. I talked to my husband again and restated I wanted to tell her, and he did agree, but just wasn't sure about how to do it. She should probably know cause of medical history stuff. I didn't know something about my family and was misdiagnosed twice. Sadly, I'm pretty sure my mother has nothing to post here. She was awfully open about everything. From my stepdad's dong size to the inside joke about duck dongs she and my biological father had. Or how she likes it rough. Or what toys are good for what. Or how much she really wishes I were gay. Or how I was conceived because spermicidal gel isn't very effective. Or how itchy her crotch is at any given time. Seriously, I wish my mom had at least one thing to post to this thread. But if she does, it could only be so terrifying it would break my psyche. He was conceived after we got lost trying to find a Halloween party at a friend's new place. We ended up just going home. But as I was already in the French maid costume, it made perfect sense to get drunk and forget the birth control. I don't imagine we will ever tell him he was conceived inside a French maid costume. Actually, who am I kidding? We will totally bust this story out for his future spouse. Ruin that particular fantasy for him. P. When my first wife was 4 months pregnant, she was diagnosed with stage 3/4 breast cancer. At 18 weeks, the doctor gave her a few choices. Her best chance of survival was to abort the baby and have aggressive chemo. We talked about it, and she decided to try and carry our son to term. They delivered our son healthy about 6 weeks early. She died about 5 months after he was born. I have since remarried and he is now almost 18. I don't plan on telling him that she saved him at her expense. It was a tough time and I don't blame him, and never have. After her mastectomy and a lengthy biopsy, she was found to have an extremely aggressive type of breast cancer. In fact, we later found out it had spread considerably. The treatment would have been in vain. Even if we had aborted, her life expectancy would probably have been less than 2 years. We made the choice to keep him before we knew this. Invasive treatments and MRI multiple x-rays would have put some risk on my son. So we took a choice. He knows she died of cancer, and he knows it was soon after he was born, but not the details. He never knew his mum. He does not grieve for her. It's cold, but true. She has written to him a number of letters, the first of which he gets at 18, the next at 21 and the final one when he gets married. They are sealed and private. I have no wish to open them, but it remains possible that she will detail what happened, although I think it's unlikely, as before she died she made me promise protect him from the pain of her illness and decision. Dad here. I know what he's doing with the butter, and that's why I buy the store brand for him to make toast at night and leave my good butter alone. And there's a reason I bought our own rechargeable batteries, because it's nice to have any remote actually work when you try to use it. There's not a calculator in the world that goes through batteries like that. Not exactly a mom. I'm actually a son of a mother, but my mom has never told me that she had a baby before me. That baby had a female version of my name and died at I think 2 weeks old. She said she named me what she did because of some Norwegian thing, but I know it's after my sister. My grandma accidentally let it slip when I was like 17. I do wish my mom would tell me though. I'm actually a son of a mother. Oh my god, me too. That I found a treasure hunt he had created as a surprise for his girlfriend on their anniversary. One of the clues was that she should go to the place where he first fricked her in the butt. I should add, they were both adults when they first met, so whatever they do in their private lives is their business only. But I can never unsee that note. I will never tell my son that his biological dad tried to kill us and himself when I was 6 weeks pregnant because he didn't want to be a dad. For the people who are asking if I got pregnant without his consent or against his will, I don't think you really understand where babies come from. I know he injured at least 2 people, and was injured himself at least once at political rallies that turned into brawls. Some nights he would came home bleeding and with a black eye. He was a boxer, so I thought nothing of it, and I'm sure a few of those were boxing injuries. But I know he was hurt a few times in those political riots. Nearly a decade later, he moved out and of the country. Coincidentally, my husband and I finally decided it was time to pack up his old room and turn his bedroom into something else. We found a few things that linked him to local fascist groups. Just a few scraps he probably forgot to take with him. One of those things was an old newspaper clipping where I can clearly see him delivering a hard punch to the face of a political opponent. He's in a disguise, but I still recognize the clothes he was wearing. Then there was another picture from the same article where the guy he punched is laying on the ground and my son is getting ready to hit someone else. After we gathered everything incriminating, my husband and I decided to burn the evidence he left behind. Nothing could be gained by keeping those things. The articles were quite old, and my son moved to a new country that doesn't have his brand of fascism. My son followed a specific local type of fascism. Because so many people are asking, we're from a southern European country. It's been bad here for a while, and I'm worried that more of our young will turn to fascism. They always hear about their parents or grandparents talking about their youth, when the country was ruled by a dictator. They hear about how easy it was back then and how we had zero worries. The young people now need to worry about unemployment, debt, a dwindling population, and tensions with immigrants. We never had to worry about any of those things. Then from their families and from school they learn about how great we used to be. Then they step outside and they see how far we've fallen. We used to be great, but now everyone sees Southern Europe as a liability. I think it's easy for them to turn to fascism in an attempt to reclaim that greatness. I miss those years, but I think fascism and dictatorships should be left in the past. My 13-year-old son is very timid when it comes to approaching awkward subjects. I've raised him as a single mother, so he doesn't really have a father figure in his life. He has started to grow some facial hair, but it's being shaved. Except he doesn't have a razor, and it only seems to get shaved when I'm not home. So one day I'll leave one of my razors out to see if it changes position, and little do you know it does. I am going to buy him an electric razor as soon my financial situation permits, but I don't think I'm going to confront him about this. That her first daycare auntie when she was aged 2-3 and going to her home every day was murdered by her husband a year later. Dang colon. Went to use the bathroom and I left our 8-month-old on the rug. I found her in the walk-in closet gnawing on my corncob. Jesus Chrysler. She was teething and I left my goodie drawer open. Did I learn my lesson? Nope. 4 years later, last week, she found it in my underwear drawer and promptly asked why I had a dog bone. I've since thrown said corn cob in the trash. Holy crap, I haven't used it since before she was even born. I stored it away sanitized, hot, soapy water. You sick fricks. Somewhere in a Missouri landfill is a rubber dong with balls. Boy wowing. Jesus. I swear kids are way smarter than they give off. They don't wanna do crap while you're watching them, but somehow when you turn around the baby is on the ceiling. Love my little boy. Sort of a meta thing, but my mum didn't tell me until right before she died that she knew I was destined to never hold a job or live an ordinary life. Her psychiatric background had long before determined I was schizotypical and prone to a pattern of atypical depression. She never told me until the end because she knew how important it was to sort myself out, rather than just be given a diagnosis. She told me that she was never disappointed in me and that even if I had problems, there'd still be a future for me. She was proud that I'd taken on the issues that I had so openly and never given up. Years later, I haven't improved much, but her encouragement and confidence in me still lingers. Whenever I'm in a truly bad place, she's still there in my head giving me comfort. Love ya, Mom. Not a mom here. When I was around 5, my aunt walked into the room while I had the nozzle of a bicycle pump on the tip of my dong. I was trying to pump air inside me to see if I would swell up like a balloon. I didn't know this until my mother told me about it a few years ago when we were having a chat about funny things that happened in the past. Luckily we do not live close to a bridge because I seriously thought about jumping. How could she think that this would be funny to me? I was mortified. Way I late, but here goes. When I was 16 I found this stash of beer in our basement fridge. Miller High Life I think. I drank some and thought it was utterly disgusting. Not like acquired taste bad, but rather what the frick, how do people drink this? My stomach is literally on fire. Hid the bottles to throw away at a later date. Crossed beer off my list of things I liked. Forget about said beer bottles. One day I remember and go to look for them where I hid them. Instead, a note. Vorkrist. Those beers were at least 8 years old. We removed them from grandma's fridge when we were cleaning her house. I won't tell your dad. Hope your first beer was memorable, Mom. I'm not a mother, but my grandma sure kept a secret that came to bite her in the butt. My cousin was adopted as a baby by my grandma because his parents were both mentally disabled and couldn't take care of him. My cousin still had a relationship with his dad until his dad died when he was 15. Well, over Christmas last year my cousin, now 23 years old, ran into a random guy at a gas station who looked exactly like his late father. Guess you can say it didn't take long for them to realize they were half brothers, and that my grandma had known about this half brother the entire time, and yet had completely excluded him from all family functions for his entire life simply because he was adopted by a non-blood family. Needless to say, my cousin and grandma have yet to talk since New Year's, and I'm just starting to get to know a cousin that I never knew I had. Haha. TL. DR. When my cousin was born, my grandmother adopted him at birth. His dad, my uncle, then died when cousin was in junior high. Cousin found long lost half brother at a gas station when he was 23. Found out grandmother knew about the brother the whole time but never said anything about it. Result, family drama. Everybody hates the grandmother, haha. It's about my sister, but when she was a baby my mother tried to give her away because she didn't want her. My dad found out and got her back from the woman. She is 21 and still doesn't know. We are human and we make mistakes, and my mom is also a human. Please stop calling her a C or anything else. My mom was suffering from postpartum depression as told by the Redditors, and now she is good and she loves her more than anything, and we three have decided to keep it as a secret from her till we die. That I wanted to give him to the fire station for a couple weeks. I didn't tell anyone until he was 2 weeks old because I thought it was something wrong with him and me. I didn't think I loved him and I was so ashamed. I ended up telling my husband in desperation one night and he snatched my son away, telling him that he'd find a mommy who actually loved him. Neither of us knew it was severe postpartum depression. I thought I was incapable of that love and my husband thought I was a monster. I am still battling the PPD and anxiety a year later. but I even now can't believe how much I love him. I love him so much it hurts. I'll never tell my son about that horrible night, but I will tell him that depression and anxiety are never ever shameful. When my son was about 10 months, there was a cricket on the floor by our patio door. This giant cricket was obviously the king of all the neighborhood crickets and had just fought a valiant fight against invading cricket pirates because he was missing a couple of legs. So, here I am holding the baby, thinking, okay brave cricket, you've gotta go cuz I'm really not trying to hear your braggart songs in the middle of the night. I put my son down and unlock the patio door only to look around in confusion because the cricket king has disappeared. Turns out my son had no sympathy for the king, his valiant fight or his loyal subjects because just one thin cricket leg snaked its way out of my kid's tightly clamped maw. The best part was that as I tried to dig that bug back out of my kid's mouth, he struggled mightily, refusing to open up and ate every last bite. TLDR, my kid is man. He knows his protein. He spares no king. I am a single dad of a teenage boy and teenage girl. I know that they talk crap about me with each other when they are mad at me. I would never say anything because I want them to have a close bond forever. I know that they still love and respect me. Plus, there are tons of long showers at weird times throughout the day. To all of the freaks who keep asking, of course the showers are together with all three of us. When I was a teenager, a lot of times I would just sit down in the shower for like 30 minutes. I would never masturbate in there though. I had a laptop in my room. When I was a kid I was diagnosed as dyslexic. They told my mum so that she could help organize extra classes and stuff for me. My mum was cool with that as long as no one told me what they were for. She didn't want me using the excuse of being dyslexic. When I got to university and was training to be a tutor I was told the early warning signs of dyslexia. Later I was chatting to my mum about my day and mentioned I thought it was odd I had so many of the warning signs. Then she casually said, oh, your teachers told me you were dyslexic when you were like 5. I just didn't tell you. You would have used it as an excuse. Thanks mum, I think. My daughter was conceived during a vacation weekend. Fantastic freaking sessions every night. All holes imaginable. Only one night we didn't use protection. I was so close to blackout drunk at one point I actually said, are you done yet? That was more than likely the night of our conception. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.